If you are anything like me and are studying in a STEM field, you probably also suffer from severe imposter syndrome. Everywhere you look, there always seems to be someone way better than you. It surely doesn't help that I'm constantly feeling like the things I've learned and achieved seem to leave my brain immediately. It's a little bit like carrying water with your bare hands. To combat this, I've started using a note-taking technique called second brain, which is basically what you would expect. An external digital repository of all the things you learn and the necessary resources that lead to it. The idea is to take the pressure off your real brain and cultivate your own knowledge base. At least that's how I understand and use it. To organize my second brain, I use a free tool called Obsidian, which is a very lightweight markdown editor. What I like so much about Obsidian, besides it being completely free to use, is the way it allows you to organize information. From operating systems, we are very much used to putting things into folders to organize them. But what if a node belongs into more than one folder? In Obsidian, nodes can be displayed in a cluster that shows connections, and instead of folders, I use tags to group nodes together. It also kinda looks like a brain, which is helpful for this analogy. As mentioned before, Obsidian is a markdown editor, which means it uses the markdown language. I see how that can sound intimidating at first, especially when you are not a computer scientist, but it's actually really easy. While other text editors rely heavily on GUI features to let you format your text, in Markdown you just use a very simple syntax in plain text. For example, if I want a headline, I just use a hashtag, or 2 hashtags if I want a headline of order 2, and so on. If I want to highlight something, I just encase it with star icons. This also means that all the files are incredibly small and on top of that future-proof, as they can be opened with any text editor, unlike some other programs. I try to give all my nodes a similar structure. First, I enter the metadata about the node, which typically contains the categories to which it belongs, related nodes and resources like documentation, tutorials or helpful websites. Then I write a short introduction about what's the purpose of the node, which became kind of obsolete when metadata was introduced to Obsidian, but I can't bring myself to get rid of it. After that, I include pictures like wiring diagrams, create step-by-step guides and write short example code. At first it will be pretty cumbersome until you get your second brain to a stage where it is actually helpful to you and you can use it to speed up your workflow. When it comes to deciding on what you want to put into your second brain, try to think of things that you often have to look up. This can even be really simple stuff like the pinout of your most used microcontroller together with a link where you can get the firmware. Also, whenever I am working on projects and do something that I think could be helpful in the future, I try to write a short guide on it. For example, for one of my projects I had to export eye tracking data from Unity into CSV files in real time for later data analysis. Whenever I am done with a project, I also write a short documentation of it, in case I want to do something similar in the future. This is also great because it forces me to do good documentation on my GitHub. I will post a link to download Obsidian in the description below, so you can go ahead and start your own second brain. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.